What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life Barbecue broadcast, coming to you live from the Uncle Steve Shake Studios in Center Bonsted, New Hampshire. It's the podcast where we talk everything barbecue and a lot of other things you talk around the pit. Thank you all for tuning in. And like we know, it's Monday, and you know what that means. You can't start the barbecue week without starting Monday. So let's get it going. And it is a big, huge barbecue week with the Houston Livestock and Rodeo happening this weekend live on the grounds of NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. But we'll get into that a little later. But first and foremost, tonight's episode brought to you by Uncle Steve Shake. What can I say? Uncle Steve, incredible person, great man. 18 amazing flavors now. It's getting crazy, but he's a mad scientist. 18 seasonings. There it is. The sauce with no name. He wears all the hats. He is mixing the shake. He is bottling the shake. He's packaging the shake. He's mailing the packages out. He's answering the phones, answering the emails. You got any questions? Give him a call. Send him an email. He'll get right back to you, talk you through whatever you're looking for. If you're trying to find a particular flavor profile, he'll work with you to make you happy. Place an order, tell him Mag sent you, and you cannot confirm, but if there's room in the package, you're going to get a little extra that you didn't order, just to give a little trial. But check him out at UncleSteveShake.com. Follow him on Facebook at Uncle Steve Shake Nation. And Uncle Steve Shake some on everything. Also brought to you by Joe's Meat Market, the diamond of Royce City, Texas. Guys, what can I say? Gabriel and his crew do a fantastic job. The meat selection is incredible. You need a certain cut, certain thickness. Gabriel's got you. You need something he might not have. He'll work with you to get it in so you can cook what you're looking for. Fresh produce brought in daily. For all us comp guys and backyarders, got us covered there too. Lines of rubs, seasonings, injections, carrying smoky wood products, logs, splits, chunks, chips, the whole nine. And now, this week, officially has the Joe's Meat Market line of seasonings available only at Joe's Meat Market. Check it out. And while you're there, if you're feeling got your cook in mind, you might start getting that little hungry feeling. He's got you covered too. Gabriel's mom's behind the counter whipping up some of the freshest, authentic Mexican cuisine out there. So grab a plate, sit down, talk to the boys, make a new lifetime friend, and just talk what we love doing on a regular basis. You'll absolutely love it. But yes, if you're ever in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, swing by Royce City, Texas, Joe's Meat Market. Tell them Mag sent you. And remember, folks, Joe's Meat Market for the win. Also brought to you by the Champions Barbecue Alliance, Big Dog Sauce Company, and Matt's Backyard Barbecue present the New England CBA Triple Crown, bringing Texas and New England together for the ultimate barbecue showdown, a 3-state high-stakes competition across Vermont, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire. Do you have what it takes to dominate the Champions Barbecue Alliance? 4 meat competition, chicken ribs, pork, and brisket, and claim the Triple Crown? How about showing your skills in some epic jackpots, including dessert, chef's choice, sausage and steak? Calling all young pitmasters. The Kids Q jackpots give the next generation of barbecue legends a chance to show off their skills. Join the fiercest pitmasters as they fire up the smokers, lay down the rubs, and showcase their best. 3 states, 3 epic showdowns, 1 champion. These sponsors are bringing the heat with prizes, including a guaranteed $10,000 payout for the Vermont competition and some unique trophies. Whether you're competing or coming to judge the feast, don't miss this barbecue lover's paradise. Contact Matt Pereira at Matt Pereira, Pereira 67 at gmail.com, or click the link that'll be in the description below for all information and signups. That is coming third week in June in Vermont, 4th week in June in Rhode Island, and the 4th week in July for New Hampshire, the CBA Triple Crown. Oh, let's see. I know Bat's in there. Dutch, what's happening? Me and Dutch have been busting balls for the past hour on our friend Steve Ray's show, having a little fun. The Owl's Nest Barbecue show. Tom, what's happening? Matt Pereira. Tim Rogers of Up to Barbecue. Craig Scoggins, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Wes Phillips, the People's Pitmaster. What's up, my brother? Simon, Yes I Can Barbecue, what's happening? Joe's Meat Market, there's Gabe. Dirk Mullins, thank you for tuning in, sir. Larry Vaughn, coming from us from Delaware tonight. Across the border from South Jersey. Judge Webb, Chris Sutton, what's happening? And Joe's Meat Market. And we also carry Twisted Oliver's Barbecue all-purpose seasoning. Absolutely. Jeff Fletcher, what's happening? Scott McDonald, what's going on, brother? Scott's going to be joining me next week to talk about his big SCA competition coming up beginning of April, I believe. So that'll be great. Richard Getchis, my apologies for butchering your last name, sir, but thank you for tuning in. JJ, what's up, my man? We were just talking about you off air, brother. That brisket was fantastic. The pulled pork, right on the money. I'm interested to see what seasoning you used on the pulled pork. We'll talk tomorrow, brother. But, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Let's get down to the brass tacks. I met this gentleman who had the opportunity and pleasure of meeting him last year, this time last year, as a matter of fact, down at Houston, at the Houston Livestock and Rodeo. And you saw the video. We did a quick couple-minute, little quick video hit, doing some coverage down there. So it was about time I got off my ass, got my schedule lined up to have him on for a full episode to get his entire story of his journey, his passion, how he got to where he is, and everything in between. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, and speaking of the devil, there's James Dodson. We were talking about you off camera, too, for a minute ago. Mr. Bobby Oliver from Twisted Oliver Barbecue. Bobby, what's up, brother?
Hey, thanks so much for having me out. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, my man. My pleasure. Chris Sutton, what's happening? Oh, the boys are all out early. Good. We're going to have some fun. So, Bobby, let's start, like I said before, it's just very laid back. It's just people literally hanging around the pit, talking barbecue, talking God knows what, you know. so let's get into it. Like I said, I ask pretty much one question, then we just roll from there. tell
Sounds
us a
great.
little bit about who you are. Family, work, pets, the whole nine yards. And then how did you get into barbecue? Was it a young age? Was it later on? Did you just stumble upon it? Were you clicking through the channels and a certain barbecue pitmaster show showed up like happened with me and that was the end?
So I'm a dad of 3 kids. I've got, 2 daughters and a son, amazing wife, and, I started cooking. My dad always cooked on the grill, and I wanted to be like him and, cook some steaks and this and that, but, uh, ended up, growing up a little more and doing catering and stuff and helping some bars cook and learned a lot there. Watched barbecue pit masters and thought, "Hey, I could do this." And of course, you're cooking for all your friends, and free barbecue is always the best barbecue. So they tell you you're the best cook ever, and I quickly realized I was not the best cook ever. So I cooked my first KCBS comp with Pirates of Barbecue Bay actually, and we it poured rain the entire event. We did not score well. We had a pop up tent, poured rain, like it
Mm-hmm.
was it was miserable. But a few years later, we took some classes and thought, hey, let's do this, and SCA came out, and I took Travis Clark's class actually with Clark Crew,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about how much fun SCA was. So I was like, hey, let's try it. And I just had my oldest daughter, and we thought it was kind of a date night thing. Like it was grandma would watch the kid and we would go cook for the day and then come back home. So I wasn't gone the whole time and I wasn't staying gone overnight. It was just little day trips. And it was something my wife and I did a whole lot of. So that it was a lot of fun and we grew and started doing that. And then I got my first sponsor and I thought I was, oh man, I think my contract said I had to cook 10 events a year. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do 10 events. Because I had cooked like 2 or 3 events a year before
Yeah.
that, Oh, I'd freaked out. So I hit the road that weekend. And we hit the road and started, hitting comps. And I was in Arkansas and I was in Missouri and I was back to Oklahoma and then we got the bug and now I'm here. Like it's been nuts.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But oh man, you hit home that story because that's exactly how it happened with me. I was always into grilling. Nothing crazy. Your typical burgers, dogs, steak tips, wings, that type of stuff. On the good old gasser mom and dad would buy at the local hardware store, and that was it. And then
We had an electric Weber that it was given to me and my bachelor days. And we would take chunks of wood and throw it in there. And there'd be fire coming out of this thing. We used it as a grill. Like it was insane. We would grill on it, we would smoke on it. Who knows what we were cooking? And everyone's like, "Oh, that's the best food ever." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's free." Didn't know that, but yeah, it was the best food ever.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then just like you said, this story is point on, dead on. I'm clicking through the channels one weekend, and I come across this show about guys cooking in a field somewhere, barbecue pitmasters, it was called, and the famous last words, "I bet I can do that," and it's
My
been a wild ride ever since. And just starting to try to do that and to where I am today and the places I've got to visit, the people I've met, the friendships, relationships, brotherhoods, sisterhoods that have come from it
Mhm.
is a blessing. And I'm grateful every day, or
Best
just a chance to, yeah, just a chance to meet you, now get to have you on, and get to hear your whole story. And it's fantastic. So All right, clearly we're not the only ones that Mr.
It was
John
funny.
Marcus cursed us with this wonderful, expensive hobby of ours.
We were walking the mall one day with my wife and I, and phone called, and she got all nervous and covered it up, and I was like, okay, okay, who called? Like, what was up? What's up with that? And she was like, oh, nothing. You wouldn't believe me. And I was like, what? Well, she had bought me Johnny Trigg's class and didn't tell me. And Johnny Trigg had called her, and
Oh
she
no,
was like,
kidding.
it was just Johnny Trigg. And I'm like, whatever. She's like, no, it's Johnny Trigg. Look. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? So she brought me to class. We went all the way to Louisiana, and I had no clue about comp food. It was a fun class, and I got to eat his food, but I didn't know what I was learning. I didn't know what to be looking for and looking at techniques and right. I was writing down every recipe. I wasn't looking at techniques. I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know what I was doing. Or honestly,
Mhm.
I didn't have a clue. Uh, I met a lot of really cool people though when I started out cooking, and I tell everybody have an open ice chest. You get to meet so many people and the best people, like you said earlier. But if you start giving them beers, they start talking to you a little bit more, and then
Mhm.
you're more friendly, and they start giving you tips. Go, hey, don't do that. Do this. Uh, and I have learned so much by just having an open ice chest for cooks.
That's it. That's it. Free beer brings them in. Free beer and food. I'm there. But
They didn't want to eat my food back then, but they drink my beer.
the beer makes the food a little bit better, and especially in the early days.
Absolutely.
Oh, let's see. Greg Mitchell, what's happening?
A lot of
I'm
Okies
glad
around
I
here.
had a year of competition before my first class. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Quentin Nelson, what's happening? NBL, what's up? Brother Steven, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. What's happening, brother? Ah. Oh, yeah. Daddy Dutch Mags, free Jello shots. Oh, yeah. Jello stocks rise up immensely in the past 2-3 weeks because each tent will have thousands of Jello shots down in Houston, and we that's out. We would always hang out with Lonesome Dove Cookers, and we just have coolers out in front, right in the walkway. Everybody wants free Jello shots. Now, which cooler you opened? That was a little surprise because there is one rigged with a rubber rattlesnake. So you
I
open it
saw it.
up. You saw
Got
that
it.
one, yeah? Yep, big
I got
sign,
it.
free Jello shots, and it opens up, and the snake jumps out at you, and oh yeah, fun
Yeah,
times, fun times,
they
But
use that out here. So
so you had said that you got your first sponsor, and they wanted 10 competitions. Who was your first sponsor?
it was Cosmo actually.
Oh, okay,
So yeah, it was
good.
like 20% discount, and I was sponsored. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So another story, like when we first did our first SCA comp, after that, Royal Oak started sending out their charcoal to all of their comp teams. And I had met people and started adding them on Facebook and seeing them. And my wife, we're sitting on our Facebook, and she's like, do you think you'll ever be there? And I was like, there's no way some company's going to be giving me charcoal.
Hmm.
And 3 years now, I've been on Royal Oaks Pro staff, which is just insane to me. I still get chills every time I get an email that says, congratulations, you're on for this year. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
heck yeah, thank you so much.
Oh,
So it's
absolutely, absolutely.
we're getting
Man, everybody's coming out here. Pat Cullen, what's up? Michael Goff from King Louis Meat Apostles. Josh DeWitt, we were speaking about you earlier off the before we came on the air. Uh look at your calendar, brother. I'm coming from you. Josh DeWitt from JD's Barbecue. What's up?
we'll be
Oh
cooking there.
man. Absolutely, absolutely. So let's, seeing it is Houston week. Let's jump into Houston. How did you get the opportunity to cook at the Houston rodeo? Because a
So
lot of everybody in the chat kind of knows how it's set up, but for anybody who's tuning in not familiar with the Houston Livestock and Rodeo, it's a closed competition. For the most part, it's, I can't even say invite only. The only, it's generational teams, a lot of
five,
corporation teams. How much?
there's like 5 spots for winners, like Memphis in May, Jack Daniels, American Royal, I think San Antonio
San
Rodeo.
Antonio.
Yeah, I
And
think that
I think Austin gets one too. So you need to
there's
grand champion one of those, and then you get the invite to Houston. Everything else is these spots, like I said, are generational. Literally, they're in the will
oh
of
yeah, no,
some of these spots.
they all get
You
will from
know,
people. It's just they
yeah,
don't give them up. So
no, no. And I think that there is a waiting list, and it's something crazy. It's like 20 years long, and it hasn't moved.
no, yeah, so it's still 21
you
years from
know,
last year.
yeah. So how did you catch the opportunity or catch on with a team to cook it?
Be in the right place at the right time. So I was helping Justin West do ancillaries at the American Royal. So I wasn't really a barbecue guy. I was big into ancillaries and doing a lot of fancy stuff with the SCA. And uh, I was cooking with him. Tommy Martin came by, and Justin had cooked with Tommy Martin at the Brew Crew tent the year before that, and
Mhm.
won him a Rib World Championship. So Tommy came to the American Royal to check out the what American Royal was like because he had only known what the Houston Rodeo was like. Uh, and I was hanging out. I was doing all the ancillaries for Justin West and Cody Allenbar. We were all together, and they said, "Hey, I see what you're doing. So do you want to, cook for us?" And I had won the dessert for the Jack Daniels with barbecue Pirates of Barbecue Bay that same year too. So it was an incredible year, and he was like, "Hey, I want you next year for us." So I've been the last 2 years, and this is my third year for Houston Rodeo.
Nice, nice. Yeah, it's uh, what
I was lucky enough to walk
how
the stage last year, so
that's what it's
I got one of
the
these. That's pretty cool. Uh,
the bow-legged H for sure.
it's incredible because the way their event works is you get banners and they let you know if you're top 10 unless you're doing the ancillaries and it's top three. So only the top three get to go up on the stage for the cook's choice and the dessert, and then top 10 of the three meats go on stage. And they don't tell you where you placed, but they give you a banner and they make a big parade out of it, which is incredible because you start seeing people and they start walking. They've got all these banners and they're all rolled up, and you don't know what category it's for. So everyone's super excited and they start waving cowbells and hooping and hollering, and then they start looking at you and you're like, "They're looking at us, they're looking at us," and then you start jumping up and down like, "We got a banner!" And you start counting their hands, how many banners are in their hands, and you're like, "We got one banner, no, we got two banners." Um, it's just been incredible. The Brew Crew tent's the first tent to ever uh, get three top 10 calls in one category, in the same category. So with ribs, and that was 3 years ago. And then 2 years ago, we got a top call in brisket, and with James Dodson was cooking brisket, and
Mhm.
then flip brisket, and then the ribs with Justin West, and then last year I got a third place. We got three perfect scores, and I got the coin flip or whatever. But I got third, which is great. And then we top 10 ribs too. So
Ah, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, the when they come out, they have it down to a science, and they do it beautiful. Like you said, it's a parade. when they come and announce the finalist. It is like literally like a scene. The best I can say, it's kind of reminds you of like a Mardi Gras type parade. The cowbells, the noisemakers, all us
All the
barbecue. We all know what a full pan is. Full pan with filled with rocks or marbles or something, so they're just shaking the shit out of it, and it's a whole racket, and you parade all the way from your site to down to the stage area and all the way around just to boast you got that call, and
it's
show
huge.
that shit off.
Oh, I didn't put it down the whole night. And the next day my arm was sore. Like, because it's about 5 pounds. It ain't 5 pounds ain't heavy, but you hold it for 5 hours. Yeah,
Hmm.
it was something
Oh
else.
yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure, for sure. And
and the awesome
yeah,
cooks I get to cook with, and everyone was there. We're all happy for each other. And people are messaging me later, say, "Oh, you were cooking with them." I was like, "Yeah." So, do you know those people? I'm like, "Yeah, those are my friends." They're like,
yeah,
"That's insane." I'm like, I do. This world's insane. Like, the places I have gotten to go and the places I've been invited, I can't believe it all the time. And the stages we've gotten to walk is it's incredible. So
yeah. For sure, for sure. And yeah, like I said, the guys I know and who getting into it, and we're talking, and they do double takes and go, huh? When I said, oh yeah, I was talking to so and so the other night. He gave me a call, and you mean the guy from TV? This, yeah. The guy who does the videos, and they're like, yeah. They're like, the big one I get is my good friend Bill Purvis from Chicken Fried Barbecue,
hmm
and obviously, one of the hottest cooks out there the past few
legend.
years,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, Bill? I go, dude, I've known Bill since he was the Chicken Fried Hunter. Okay, that was before he had the Chicken Fried Barbecue YouTube page.
He was in the Cosmo Q Club back then, and I think we got picked up for sponsorship the same year. And so Cosmo had a chat room on Facebook that you can get into, and you could talk and tell stories or whatnot. But I
Yeah,
think I don't know if it was his first GC or whatnot, but it was in Enid, and I had got second place in steak, and then he GC'd that event, and I was like, "What's up?" I was like, "What's going on?" It was cool.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Josh, Josh is saying hashtag why not us?
That's us.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that was our
Oh,
theme last year. Our last 2 years has been why not us? Why not us get a good call?
that's
So
it.
you know,
That's it. You're not showing up to lose, you know.
someone's got a big call, so hey, why not us?
Why not us? Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Oh, so that's excuse me, that's Houston. And yeah, it's Houston is an experience. It is so difficult to describe Houston livestock and rodeo.
It's the biggest event
You
there is. You can't
yeah,
walk the whole event. Like, this will be my third year, and I haven't walked the whole event yet. You got
yeah,
the fair going on at the same time, and then you've got everything going on inside the NRG stadium, and then the rodeo. I mean, the barbecue's going on too, and it's just the entire parking lot, and it's all tents. The
yeah,
first time I went there, I walked for about 20 minutes and didn't know anybody. I couldn't believe it. I was at a barbecue event and I didn't know anybody,
yeah,
and they didn't know me. Like, I'm walking around, I'm like, I don't see nobody. So I finally saw Matt with Victorinox knives, and I was like, Matt. And he was like, "What's up, Bob?" I said, "Do you know where I'm supposed to go?" He said, "I'll follow me." So I wasn't too far away, but everybody's behind tents. So
yeah,
all these teams that have had these spots forever, they all have hired guns to cook their comp food. Well, if they want to walk, they do. So they have all these. So then you find all your buddies because their all spots are all hidden behind walls, and you find them like, oh, they're over here and you're over here, and then it. Wednesday night's a good night because you get to meet it. You find all the comp
yeah,
cooks, and
yeah,
figure out who they're cooking for and where they're actually going to be at.
Yeah, I remember my first year down there, and I was meeting up with very dear friend now, Jen Lee,
Mhm.
uh, big promote, does a lot of promoting events and coordinations and everything. She's been on the show a couple times, and we were going to finally meet up. And I couldn't find our tent to save my life. Like I said, we just roaming around, no roaming around. And luckily, it would have been Thursday, so it was still a bit slow. And I'm walking around, and obviously I'm loud to begin with. And in Houston, especially with my accent, I kind of stick out like a sore thumb. Out of nowhere, Jen jumps in front of me and goes, "Johnny." I go, "How'd you know it was me?" She goes, "I heard you coming from down the street." I, I, I can sense it. I can hear a Yankee coming. I'm like, all right, fair
Absolutely.
enough. But yeah, you walk around and that's how you're bumping into people. Because like you said, guys and gals are literally hidden
Well,
in behind, and you
it's all
can't
private parties.
access them.
It's all private parties, so they have all these tents have corporate parties every night, and the public's out there walking around, and they don't know who you are, and you're like, here we're here having a great time, but every tent's got open bars at. You just start cruising tents and being cooks, you can get into other
Oh
places
yeah.
that other people can't. But some of these tents are like 5 spots huge, and chandeliers and multiple bars, and they all have bands playing. Uh,
Yeah.
Big names, like Pat Green and Del McCoy and um, big DJs and all kinds of like people are playing these events. Whiskey Myers, like I mean, all these bands are playing these tents. It's incredible.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And like you said, as the cooks, and I found out that myself doing the podcast, and it's like I would walk around, and like you said, you can't just walk into any of these. They're all private. You need to be banded. But you get to know people, and so you're walking. Hey, John Mags, what's up? Get in here. Get in here. Yeah, give them a band. Come on, let's go. Let's go. A couple other guys gave me little insights on how to skirt around that stuff, and
Yep.
next thing you know, we're having the time of our lives.
Uh-huh.
But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Um, let's let's talk about your seasonings before
Okay.
we get completely gone here. Um, how'd you start to come up with it? It's the Twisted Oliver all-purpose championship all-purpose seasoning.
Yes, sir. So I wanted a SPG, but I wanted with onion, and I wanted a really coarse pepper, but I didn't want everything else to be coarse. I wanted it to dissolve into my meat.
Hmm.
I love pretty food, and that's what I get known for, and that's why I'm a hired gun to go on these other teams to make pretty food. Everything else dissolves away on this, and the pepper stays on top, and it's a great base layer for almost anything. Um, everybody's all my friends are running it at their base layers. I've been cooking the Rib Cook Off Association all year, and I don't know how many cooks are using it. So it's incredible on brisket too. A lot of Texas cooks are running it on the brisket and getting big calls. So it's a I don't know. I wanted something just good, normal flavors, but
Hmm.
fancy. So I
Yep.
every
Okay.
time I'm doing my competitions and my ancillaries, I'm trying to do normal flavors fancy. I want them to look really pretty, but I want you that normal flavor, and that onion in that in this SPG is what gives you that taste like you're back home.
Yes. Very nice. Now, how long have you had it out?
Um, 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yep, yep, just 2 years. So
Very good. Very good. And obviously, it's going well.
it is. And you said earlier it was at Joe's Meat Market. Well, they
Yep.
have the best chicharrones, like hot. When you go in that store, you get hot chicharrones. Oh, they're so good. I love it. But we put it on cheeses. We put it on base layers. I put it in my injections. I put it in everything.
Yeah.
My finished nubs for my comp meat. There's steak cookers running it too. Um, yeah, it's just been. it pairs well with a lot of different rubs.
Nice, nice. Perfect, perfect. The next thing is you had mentioned a couple little bit ago the Rib Cook Off Association.
Oh, that's so much fun, and it's
How'd you
local.
get into that? It's starting to blow up, and if I'm not mistaken, you did pretty well this year.
Did all right. So I was the points champion for team of the year, and uh, it was incredible. So it's a lot like SCA, where it's a one meet competition. You show up one day, you get to go home that night. Or you don't have to stay the night or anything like that. You bring your own meat, so I love that factor. You don't have to worry about a draw or anything like that. It's very promoter friendly, so the promoters can actually make money, and that's what's really helping grow the sport. About 50% of the cooks are pros, and the other 50% I would say are very new cooks.
Hmm.
People want to get their feet wet, wanting to get into the comp world. So you get to meet so many people and get to educate and have a really good time helping the barbecue community and cook at the same time. Um, it's they're incredible. I've had a blast at them. The entry fees aren't a whole lot. They're about $125. The payouts are
Yeah.
great. First place is usually about a grand, and they usually pay top 10. I've seen some pay top 15, and none of these little piddly, $5 payouts and stuff like that. Like, it's just
Yeah.
kind of an insult. So
Yeah.
I love them. They're doing doubles sometimes. They've done some triples. Um, it's really blowing up. I love it, and I can't uh, suggest it more to anybody else. Like if you want to do some cooking and way laid back, I've had a blast doing it.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we've gotten any up here in New England yet, or somehow I might have missed it. But
it hasn't got that far yet. It's a new organization. It should have
yeah,
started last year.
yeah.
It was Dirk and Jody brainchild, and they're right here in Oklahoma also. Um, and I've tried to help them promote it as much as I can, and just help new cooks and educate them. And uh, hey, who don't want to cook some ribs? So everybody likes to cook ribs, and it's something you used to cooking at home already. People
Oh,
aren't scared that it's a brisket, or and chicken doesn't take long enough. So ribs are great.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like we were talking earlier, and I know he's watching, was in the chat. My friend JJ from work. He a new cook, got into it, past year or so, and coming right along. He's absolutely loving it. And he had said to me, about the comps, and if I ever, the past last year and this year wasn't looking good for comps for me.
Hmm.
I had to, life in the way,
Absolutely.
and like I said, what we do is not cheap, as you're well aware. And,
Yes.
I was telling him, I go, you know, it- they're expensive, depending on which sanctioning body and, an entrance fee. I know between CBA and KCBS, an entrance fee, at least up this way, can run anywhere from $250 to $400. That's just to give you a spot,
Yep. That doesn't count your
you know?
rubs and your meat and anything else.
Yeah. So, get your proteins for me. You need a brisket. Most people nowadays are cooking Wagyus.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're going to start there, So there's, for round numbers, there's $200 for a single brisket,
Oh, absolutely.
couple racks of ribs, couple pork butts or pork collars because they're able to cook them now.
Hmm.
Your chicken thighs, and at that point, like you were saying, the rubs, injections, sauces,
Yep.
aluminum foil, butcher paper, half pans, full pans, tables, pop ups. It adds up, and it adds up quick. Just a one weekend competition can
So
be
what I love
anywhere.
about the Rib Cook-Off Association is there's no sanctioned judges. It's the general public coming to judge you.
Yeah.
So you just have to cook good food, good tender ribs. There's no any heat source you can use. So it doesn't matter what fire source you want to use, a pellet cooker, you could sous vide them, you could grill them, you could smoke them, however you want to cook them, you can cook them that way.
And even for you guys who stick by that thing, you could probably even boil them. Hey, yeah. I remember
You,
Mom used to do it.
and if you
But
really want to know how to do them, I've got a class about it.
yes, you do, and we were just about to get that. Tell us about your rib cooking class.
Yeah, so I love online classes. I love continued education. I think you should do it with anything you do in life. And cooking's the same way. So if you want to get big walks and you want to go, you got to keep going classes. So I filmed my own rib class. I tell all class 100% on everything I did this season and how I got my calls. So my meat I picked out, my injections, my timelines, everything I do, the days I do it to get ahead and to do it. So it's all online. It's $200 at twistedoliverbbq.com, which is my website. And you can watch it as much as you want. There's a chat room on there also. You can ask me any question you want, and I'll mentor you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, when did that idea of the class came up? Because something you always wanted to do was cook your own class, or a lot of people, hey, Bobby, you should do a class. Come on, man, come on.
I got asked once a week, if not twice a week this season, and when I was coming out with the class. The Rib Cook-Off Association is growing, and I didn't want to limit it to just a in-person class. So I did launch it online. I'll be doing some in-person classes too, but um, everybody wants to cook good ribs, and for a good price point, you can learn and it'll start getting you walking. It'll show you what you need to do to start getting good calls.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, the alcohol goes hand in hand with boiling meat, Pat Cullen. I said boil. Yes, I know. I know James had said, "Oh, Meg said boil." Yeah, I brought it up. I had to. No, I have never boiled a rib, but I do remember Mom used to boil ribs, and I knew what those were, and mine are much better. There's not much I'm able to cook that was better than my mother's. I got her in ribs. That's for sure. Oh man. But let's hit a couple other things here. First and foremost, Bobby, your look. I
Oh,
love it. How did it come up? The derby hat, the suit coat jacket, the green shoes. You got the whole leprechaun look, so to speak.
yeah,
Not trying to pigeonhole you, but
no, yeah, I get that. I've been asked if I was Jewish. I've been asked if I was leprechaun, all kinds of crazy stuff. But so I grew up in Stillwater, and wearing hats and cooking was just kind of a normal thing to do. So I always had a hat. We always had a cooking hats. Had cowboy hats, and I liked the derby, so I started wearing it. We got a snakeskin hat band in when we were at Fort Worth. And then if you look at Whiskey Myers, the drummer likes to wear a derby also.
mhm.
And he asked me for my hat because he liked my look. And so I bought him one. And if you look back at old videos, the drummer all has my hat.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome.
and then I love green. Like I've always liked green. Um, I always wanted a green car, but I knew I couldn't do that. So I got a green trailer, and my bottle rub had to be green. So I knew that. Uh, so the SCA likes to. Everybody has Columbia shirts with all their sponsors on it, and I've always been a little flashy. So Joe Wilson always had cool coats, and I'm like, hey, why don't I put my sponsors on a coat? and no one had done it before that I knew of, and I started doing it. Then I met James Dodson, and he's got a white coat too, and we've been the White Jacket Society, kind of self-deemed it,
Yep.
and,
Okay.
you gotta there ain't no white in barbecue, so why not? You know? So, it's something that pops and something I enjoy doing and being silly, and you gotta have a look if you want people to remember you and have a good time.
Absolutely. You and James together with the coats. You got the hat. He's got the socks. It's hell yeah, and the shoes.
I got new shoes this year. James, you better watch out. You got those
Woo.
Texas shoes. I'm telling you, check out these. They are bright. They are all kinds of green. I'm looking forward to it.
Jen Lee, darling, another person. We were speaking of you earlier, of the first time you and I met in person when you heard me coming a mile away down the alley heading to your tent. Oh, great times, great times. Absolute darling right there. I love Jen. Love Jen. Great people, great people. So, boy, what do you cook on
I'm a hasty bake.
between?
So we've
Okay,
got some hasty bakes right here. These are the Hasty Bake Roughnecks. It's an Oklahoma company. It's America's oldest charcoal grill company. Started in 1948. All American made, American steel, whole 9 yards. So I really like that. I love the American made product of it. They are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm an Oklahoma boy, so I'm going to use Oklahoma products. And this is something they've been behind me for years now, and I love Hasty Bake. Like they treat me great. The this model doesn't, but the other models, the charcoal basket raises and lowers, and it was the
okay.
first grill to do that. They also was the first grill with a hood originally back in the day. So that they're made in Tulsa, Oklahoma, all by hand, and it's great products. So
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So Hasty Bakes, it is nice, nice, nice. When you first got into everything, what was your first grill? Let's go. Let's
I
after the first gasser.
Yeah. So my first comp grill was PK. My
Okay.
grandpa had a PK growing up, and I remembered it. I wanted to start cooking SCA, and I got on their website and I said, "Hey, what kind of cooker should I be using for this?" And lo and behold, Johnny Joseph messaged me personally. And side note, and I watched a bunch of videos and everything, and Johnny Joseph was, the godfather of the SCA.
Yeah.
He messaged me, "Hey, if you have any questions, let me know. Check out a PK." He's sponsored by PK, but I was like, "Oh, absolutely!" And that made my day. Like it was Johnny Joseph to spend time and just message me. I got to meet him a couple years later, finally in person,
Mhm.
and that was another conversation. It was awesome, but great guy, and just growing the sport. Giving a good advice to people and learning how to cook is you've said before, it's about meeting the best people there is, and cooking the cooking world is the best group of people there is. Like, really, I love it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And like I said, we bounce all over the place, Bobby. Um, I can say I can go to almost any state in the country and know somebody.
Absolutely.
All through barbecue, all through cooking meat in the parking lot. I can go anywhere, and it's a great feeling. You know, I always tell a story of when my wife, a couple years back, my wife bought me a pit from my friend Ryan Newland. Marion is actually representing him tonight. Backline Smokers out of Austin, Texas,
All right.
and we drove down to pick it up and all that, and he used to have these pit reveal parties,
Mhm.
to get the word out for him, his shop, and the community, and open to the public. And he brought it back. I was the first party after COVID, and everybody heard I was getting it, and that Ryan was having the party. And I showed up. They knew when it was, and I showed up, and all my Texas boys were there. They came down from Dallas, up from San Antonio, in from Houston, everyone in Austin, out west. There were probably 40 guys showed up. That I had only met through like this, through a screen.
I love
Text messages.
the Texas cooks. They took me in so much, and I started cooking outlaw barbecue with them, and just giving me tips and giving me advice. And I gave them beer, but they just took me in so much. And I was an Okie, but it was an awesome. Like they were like, they wouldn't hold it up against me too bad. But I love Texas cooks. Like they're great.
Oh yeah, but like I said, just to and my kids came down with me, and they're like, they heard me talking to somebody, and they're like, "Dad, these are your friends." Yeah, honey. Well, if they're your friends, how are you meeting them for the first time? They couldn't understand it. That this was the
Got
first time we were in each other's presence, but you would never have known.
I've got friends from New Zealand because of cooking.
Yeah.
Because meeting them online on Facebook and meeting them, and they're a hoot. If you ever meet New Zealand people, because their Saturday night is our Friday morning. So after they're all hooped up and primed up, after they've been at their comp all day and very primed, the Cook Cartel will call you at 6 a.m. on Facebook Messenger and tell you all about walking stages and this and that and rooting you on and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool meeting so many people all over the place.
Absolutely. And Daddy Dutch and Johnny cried. Yes, I did. I cried. I lost $100 on the no cry bet, and Ryan Newland won. Cheating little bastard. But anyway, but like you said, a lot of friends we have through barbecue, and I had a comment from a mutual friend of ours, Mrs. Leslie Roke Scott of
Oh
Ubon's
yeah,
Barbecue,
the
and
princess.
the barbecue princess, and she had said, "Hey Mags, make sure you ask Bobby how he got the name Possum."
Oh, that's because I'm so cute. No, no, that ain't why it is. So Craig, the barbecue ninja, with Royal Oak, he likes to give everybody good nicknames. And so the year that I got the big call at the Jack Daniels, I got to walk the stage at the American Royal that same year too. I got invited to the Royal Oak Invitational. I was on cloud nine, and all that happened in a month. I didn't stop smiling at all. Like, didn't stop smiling. I smile a lot already, but he nicknamed me Possum because I smile all the time. So
Okay.
I'm just smiling and having a good time, and that's me. So smile like a possum.
Nice. Nice, nice. um, I'm gonna jump back to the Rib Cooking Association, and like I said, my friend JJ was asking me about the comps, and I'm like, these. I got one coming up. There's gonna be one in New Hampshire, and it's open to the public. Swing by. It's close to home. You're gonna be able to walk around, have access to the cooks, so you can ask questions. Saturday during the festival time. I wouldn't recommend to do it on Sunday, but I go, there's a little bit of business being taken care of Sunday. But on Saturday, you got access to everybody and ask questions, hang out, check it out to see how it is, to see if it's something you'd be into. But with the SCA to a point, I suppose, because it is a little different, but
Oh,
definitely the rib cooking, you know, at like you said, $100, 125 to
yeah.
enter, and you bring your meat, and that's it. You're
If you
not
know
doing
Nikki
this.
T, You
Go
get to
ahead.
bring your meat. All you need is a cooker, and honestly, a tent if you want to stay a shade, but a table. And I mean, everybody's got that stuff. So you don't have to have 4 cookers. You don't have to have a whole bunch of stuff. Um, I will give you some tips though if you're wanting to be a new cooker and check this out. Trim your meat before you get to the event. Trim your meat. Um, get you a timeline. Start practicing how long it takes you to cook your food. So you're going to have a 30-minute window to turn your food in, and you don't want to be late, but you don't want to have your food done too early either. So start timing yourself and figure out how long it takes you to cook those ribs.
Absolutely, absolutely. Is there any specific type of brand you like to cook?
I cooked a lot of Prairie Fresh, and I cooked a lot of Smithfield this year. I try to cook what I can get close to me,
Hmm.
and that's what my 2 grocery stores, well, the bigger grocery stores carry right now. So I've been running both of those this year.
Nice, nice. And they're obviously working out well for you.
They did great. They did great. So
Um, where do you stand on rib injection? You know, do
100%,
you 100%?
100%. If you're cooking comp food, you better be injecting.
Yeah,
Now, eating food at home, I don't ever inject.
yeah.
But comp food, 1000%, you better be injected.
Yep. I remember one of my comps and just all hell broke loose. We've all been there. And I'm trying to figure out, I go, what the hell happened? What what went wrong? Why is this tasting like this? Why is it? I go, you know something? I'm gonna have a beer. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna calm down and let me think about it. I opened the cooler, reached in, grabbed a beer, pulled it out, mason jar full of injection. I completely forgot to inject my meat. This was one of my first year competing, and I'm like,
Write everything down. Write
answered that
everything down.
question. Yeah.
Make you a timeline. Get organized. That's going to help you a lot because people like to talk. People want to visit with you. If you have a timeline, um, you're less likely to mess up because you know what your next step is. Now, it takes a
Oh,
little bit to figure out your steps, but when you figure your steps out, you've got to write them down, and that will just keep you in line. So the whole time,
yep.
wasn't interesting.
Love
He's
it.
smiling.
Keep on smiling, Possum. The barbecue ninja himself, Mr. Craig Vahaji, another member of Team Royal Oak that I got to meet at the tent last year in Houston.
With the rib
And
crew.
yeah, and Craig, I had told Mr. DeWitt earlier, and I will tell you, I'm coming for you, brother. We're going to set up a date to have you on to talk everything and
James
have
is
a
one of
good
the
old
best people I've
time.
worked with. He
Yeah.
he helped me out so much. He's one of those Texas guys. James and I will message each other before every event and kind of get us psyched up. And we'll talk to each other after our events if we don't like what we did. We can you know armchair quarterback our cook and figure out what we did wrong, bounce ideas off each other. I think it's important if you're going to be a comp cook to have a good friend like that you can talk to and figure out what's working, what's not working, and just motivate each other. So that was huge for
Oh,
me this year.
oh,
Huge.
absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, to have your friends there for motivation and everything, that's a big part of it too. Because, like you said, you can bounce things off each other, going, "Hey, what did I do here? Do you think I'm in a little bit of a slump? Do you think I? What do you think about if I change this one particular aspect first? Don't go crazy and change it all.
Mhm.
One little ingredient or one little change in your time frame can turn things completely around. And
And
to
just
have
talk
our
to people.
friends there and to go head to head with them week in, week out, that's another plus because it gives you something to strive for. You know, a little bragging rights between friends and a little ball breaking between friends
Well,
never hurt
that's
nobody. You
so
know,
I had a friend, one of the newer cooks, and he wasn't getting good calls, and I could tell it was frustrating him. So I started talking to him, say, "Hey, what are you doing? You know, what's your process? You know?" And he told me what he was doing, and I figured it out what he was doing. Well, wrong. I mean, just when he told me what his process was, and he was doing 2 cups of injection for a rack of ribs, and I was like, "Dude, you got way too much stuff in there. Like there's chemicals in these injections and they'll start messing your meat up." I said,
yeah.
you got to lay back on that, jump back on that. And they all have phosphates inside them and stuff. So you just got to tone those back a little bit. And they started walking and he almost caught me, but, good guys and, chasing points but they, it's that camaraderie and making friends and talking to them and
Mhm.
asking questions, ask. Yeah, they can tell you no, and sometimes some cooks will tell you lies, but
Oh yeah.
most of the time they won't. So it depends on who you're asking, but ask a few people and they'll point you in the right direction.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's the best thing. Uh, the best advice I ever heard, and I heard it from my good friend Rob Arosha
Uh-huh.
from Bullhorn Barbecue and the So Smoking Gooder show.
Yep.
And he had said it. Robert Smith from First Class Barbecue, and a lot of those boys. But it was on his show. Two things, great pieces of advice. First was shut up and listen. Just
Yeah.
sit there, take it all in.
Those night
Get there
before
on a Friday
drinking beers,
night.
drinking beers
Yep.
with the guys. Listen, I have told people that before, and I've had people come up to me, dude, that was great advice. 100%. I agree
Yep.
100%. I love hearing stories from the legends, old time cooks that have been cooking forever.
Hmm.
This summer, I got to hang out with Donnie Till, and just hearing his stories, they were awesome. So good. Like, oh, I loved it.
Oh
Did you
yeah.
get advice?
You had said earlier, your wife had surprised you with the Johnny Triggs cooking class. I'm sorry, but if I'm ever in the presence of Johnny Trigg, you're not gonna know. I'm gonna be a mute. You're not gonna know I can talk because I just he has forgotten more barbecue than I'll ever know.
Yeah.
You
It's like
know,
having an open ice chest. I tell people, have open ice chest. Those stories start coming out, and those advice starts coming out, and tips and tricks that you want to know. And heck, I still want to know from these goats that are just amazing cooks. Uh, Getting to hang out at the Brew Crew tent, the last few years, and
mhm.
just hanging out, cooking with, you know, some of the best cooks in Texas, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I got
absolutely.
Joe, I got Cody Albar, I got James Dotson, we got Ninja, we got Leslie, we got a couple guys from Chopped. I mean, all kind like the group is it's insane at that the level of talent that's all in one spot. Um, it's crazy.
Yeah, James jumps in. Johnny Mags, Johnny Trigg cooks in local events in Texas. Like I need another damn reason to move to Texas. These boys are trying, Bobby. They
He
are
does.
trying.
They
They
had
are
the juice.
trying. Yeah, that was the first one I learned was advice. Shut up and listen. Then Robert Smith has the second one. Put it in the box. Put it in the box. Just put it in the
Yeah.
box. Cook your best. Do what you do. Put it in the box. You can't win unless you put it in the box. Because once you put it in the box, it's out of your goddamn hands anyway.
Oh yeah. No, you got to
You
turn in
know.
good food and get on the lucky table.
Yep.
You got to turn in a great product on a good table, and that good table is out of your control, 100%.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, those are move down here, Mags. I know a place you can work a good deal on. Chef, if I could afford to buy your house, I would. I'd give Mrs. Mags the house. All I want is the bunkhouse and the outdoor kitchen. That's it. She can have the rest of it. We'll try to work something out, Chef. I know you'll cut me a hell of a deal. For sure, for sure. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So with the, advice, shut up and listen, soak up as much as you did and put it in a box. What other tips would you give somebody, getting into our beloved sport?
There are so many free things that you can learn on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. It's the learning curve is huge now. Like it's way smaller. Um, Heck, Bill Purvis is posting videos all the time of trimming meat and this
Hmm.
and that. There's lots of cooks doing this. I just watched a video today, trimming chicken thighs. You know how long it took me to learn how to trim a chicken thigh? About 2 years trying on my own. And I
Hmm.
saw everything I needed to know on a 1 minute video on TikTok this morning. And I'm like, where
Yeah.
was this, all these years? Like, this is crazy. Uh, just you've got to educate yourself. Don't think you know everything. You're not cooking for you, you're cooking for the judges. So I was talking to a cook just this weekend. He's like, well, I don't like eating this. I don't like eating that. I said, dude, it ain't about what you like to eat. It's what the judges like to eat. You
Hmm.
forgot what you're doing. You're competing for the judges' taste, not your taste. I don't care if you like it. I don't, you know, I'm not a big cheesecake fan, but cheesecake wins, so I make it all the time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. In the ninja, you will win with your worst and lose with your best. You never know. So true. There has been countless stories. How was your ribs? How was your brisket? I wouldn't feed them to my dog. First place ribs, first place brisket.
Yeah.
You know, um, who,
And
I've
what
heard
I
a
like
lot of
about
people.
the Rib Cook Off Association, it's all public judging, a lot like Texas. So you don't have certified judges. You're not trying to fit some box. You're feeding your mom, your grandmas, your buddies, your friends. You're feeding normal people, not people that they think they know. You know, for certifications. Like it's just good food.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you never know, and a lot of people saying, we're all about that. It's one bite. You need packed it with flavor to wow, and then you hear some of these old timers who are legends. You just need to cook good barbecue.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be over the top. Just make it palate pleasing for the average person. If you can hit average taste barbecue, you're probably gonna your chances of scoring well are gonna be there. You don't want to overpower, you don't want to underpower either, but it's
It,
that fine line in the middle that we try to dance.
in my opinion, if you get a top 5 call, you could have won that event. It
Yeah.
was just you just weren't lucky. I think there's a lot of luck in it. You turn in a good product, but if you get a top 5 call, you probably could have won it. Typically, in my opinion. So just get good calls. Just try to get a good call. Don't worry about winning
Yep.
the event.
Yep. James Dodson, that's exactly who I was talking about. He said it numerous times. Darren Worth, the GOAT, says he shows up and waits for people to outseason him. And he's famous. He was on the show. He goes, he goes, come on, bring anybody on. I'll kick your ass with salt, pepper, and ketchup. He goes, that's all I'll use because I'll beat you in tenderness every time. It's
An
like, ooh,
important factor. Huge
yeah,
factor. Is your finish temps and your and getting it to that right texture and that that tenderness. That's with cooking at home. That's with cooking at comp food. No matter what you're doing, if you're trying to impress your friends or and try to impress your wife or impressing judges, you've got to get that tenderness down.
Mhm. Absolutely. And now, let me get your opinion on this because I've talked to some people and it varies a little bit. You kind of find yourself doing it anyway. Where do you sit on practice? You know, do you just cook regular, or do you specifically go out
I
and practice?
I will practice. Um, yes, 100% I will practice. Um,
Okay.
when I'm cooking a whole bunch of events every weekend, that practice slows down. But
Hmm.
before the season starts up, if I want to practice any kind of recipes or whatnot, absolutely we practice.
Yeah.
I'll make 3 or 4 different kinds of ribs and have them numbered. And I'll have friends come over to the house and I'll have them write down what they like, what they don't like about each one of them. You know, now your friends will tell you they're all great, but if you have to ask them to score you and give you reasons why you score them this way.
Yeah. Yep.
Because if you're cooking for normal people and unsanctioned judges, you want to that's your audience that you're trying to feed. But
Yep.
don't just have a whole bunch of, if you're 30 years old, don't have a bunch of 30-year-olds come over. Have some older people. Look at your judges. You'll have young judges, you'll have old judges. It depends on where your comp's at. If it's a VFW and there's a bar there, you better put some flavor in that food because those boys have been drinking all day.
Yep.
And you probably ought to put some heat on that too because they've been drinking all day, and smoking cigarettes and this and that. But if you have a more milder crowd, you need to tone those flavors down some, and uh, a little sweeter, a little whatever. If it's a primarily female group of judges, but look at your judging pools and where they're coming from. So if
Yep.
it's a city council that's hosting this, you want to go a little milder, but if it's a bunch of firemen, you know, they want some more heat and whatnot. But if it's all their wives, you need to think about, that those nicer, calmer flavors. So
Yep. Absolutely. And then here's the opposite end. James Dotson. I practice at comps. You
he
know,
lie. He practices at home too.
it's funny because like you said, my practice would be, the beginning of the season, you know, try out some new rubs and injections I've gotten, and work this, work that, try out some new recipes, knock the dust off a little bit. Um, you know, dial in my cooking times. But even when I'm not doing that, I'm cooking ribs, or I'm cooking pork butts or brisket for the a weekend, for meals for the week.
Oh yeah.
Before you know it, I'm saying, yeah, I'm just gonna rub it and run it. That's it. No, we're just eating ribs, eating brisket till I get it out of the package.
So
Next thing you know, I can't help myself. It's, trimming everything perfect and taking this and the only thing I'm not doing is injecting. But it
yeah.
winds up I'm just doing a regular cook for the family, and I wind up every time, Bobby. I wind up cooking competition style because I can't help it. The brain just takes over,
But if
and
you're not
it's
into
like,
stuff like that, is it really competition style? You're not putting all that crazy stuff in there.
no, no. It's, I'm usually doing one or two rubs, like an SPG, like, style with yours, and, hit something on top, and, that. But but yeah, it's just funny how the muscle memory takes over.
So I had 4 events this year that I didn't get calls at. 4 turn-ins, 3 events. And darn right, I was hard to practice. I was practicing. I was figuring out what I was doing wrong, and I figured it out and finished out strong. But I straight up started practicing again. I was practicing at the house. I was a lot. So
Nice, James again. And
well,
this one makes complete sense too, as far as the judging goes. Aaron Leslie says when the shorts get shorter, you double the sodium in the injection.
not bad.
That's
And
it.
he's been a little bit about a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
He's been
You
around the
know,
block 2 times.
yeah. When the shorts get shorter, that tells you right there the demographic that you're looking for. The younger it is, add more of it to it because that's what they used to flavor product with a lot of sodium in it. That they love that salt for sure.
Oh yeah.
While an older crowd might like something a little bit more. Go back to Darren Worth. He always says, "Oh, what the hell were his two rubs? Where's Dutch on this one? Oh, they were old time rubs, smoking guns hot,
Yeah.
and oh, I can't remember the other one. Oh shit, it's gonna kill me." But he goes, yeah. He goes, if it's an older crowd, I go with that because that's what these older judges were used to. Because
Mhm.
when they was on, there wasn't the amount of rubs and seasonings that are out today.
Oh yeah.
Smoking hot and Cimarron docks. That's it.
Yep.
Thank you, Dutch. I knew he'd come out with it. He goes, there were only certain ones, and that's what the older judges knew. And you give them something that they know every
You gotta
time.
have those normal flavors. And that's why we put onion in my SPG because I wanted a more normal flavor. I wanted a flavor that grandma made, and stuff like that
Mhm.
that you can relate to. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Bobby, what do you got coming up for the rest of the year? Here we are, February, Houston Livestock Rodeo Week. We're
so
only at the beginning. What do you
it is.
got coming up?
I kicked off the last few weeks, so I haven't got to cook. So I've got Houston Rodeo. We got Memphis in May. I'll be at the Wickers tent. I'll be going to New Zealand this year,
Okay.
promoting some rib cook-off associations out there, and I hope to cook some barbecue out there also with the Cook Cartel. I'm gonna chase a little bit in the Rib Cook-Off Association again this year. I've had a blast doing it. In that, it's just blowing up and growing, and it's so much fun. I really enjoy it. It's really it's brought a lot of funness back to cooking for me. So I've really enjoyed doing that. Uh,
Nice. Very nice.
I'll be at all the big events, uh, and I'm sure we'll be at the American Royal again, and who knows where from there. So
Hey, wherever the smoke takes us, right?
my goal last year, so I set goals every year and I set themes for every cook. Um, so my goal last year was to be known as a barbecue guy because everybody thought I could just do ancillaries. And so I wanted to be known as a barbecue guy and went out there and started cooking in Texas and did the RCA and feel like I accomplished that. So we'll see what this year's goals are. I think it's walking big stages, and I've enjoyed doing that and chasing points with the rib cook off, and uh, I want to walk some more big stages. So hopefully this weekend we get to walk big stages, and hey, Memphis and May is right around the corner also. So
They tell me the big stages never get old.
they don't. It's been so. I can't believe this place up I've got to do.
Yeah.
I've got to walk, Memphis MA, American Royal, Houston Rodeo, Jack Daniels. I've been on all those stages. It's incredible to think that I was watching Barbecue Pitmasters 12 years ago, 15 years ago, and now I'm one of the guys up there. So it's really cool. Like I'm a very blessed man, and I've got a great wife that supports me to do this crazy, crazy dreams we do. But I've been very, very lucky, very blessed.
Beautiful, beautiful. Anything possibly coming down the line on expanding the seasonings or just sticking with your
Got a
all-purpose?
chicken slash rib rub that I've been playing with. So, I had to get my class out. That was a big priority for me, the first of the year. So we got that released, and it's been selling really well. We might do some more seasonings. I want something. I like a lot of color in my food. I want pretty food.
Yeah.
So that'll be really important to me. But there's so many rubs out there that it's hard to make something different than everybody else. So, and I've been looking at an injection. So I'm been playing with a pork injection. So we'll see where that ends up. But it's got to get proven first.
All right, all right. And the last question we got here, and if you don't mind, I'll answer it. But James Dodson, Johnny Maggs, did y'all say how much the Bobby Oliver rib class was and how to find it? Yes, James. It is $200, and you can find it at twistedoliverbbq.com. And just because James is my boy and I love him, and he's been busting my chops and having fun with me, I get to take a quick shot. James, sign up. Go to twistedoliverbbq.com. Spend $200. Sign up for the rib class. Get it, and maybe someday you'll be able to beat Erica in cooking ribs. Had to throw it out there.
Man.
Had to throw it out there. When we had James, yeah.
So he did pretty good this weekend. He got a first place in ribs and a grand championship this year. This weekend. But
yeah,
that's hilarious because we all know Erica cooks his food for him.
Yeah, because when I had them scheduled, and James came on at the time, Erica had a little something going on and wasn't able to make it. And he was coming. He goes, "She's a better cook than me." He goes, "I'll say it. I'll say it." So that's why I knew I could get away with saying what I said. That he'd get a little chuckle because he knew it. But Bobby, thank you so much, brother.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so sad that I won't be able to meet up with you this year. But you never know. Paths might cross. Stranger things have happened. If not, I will definitely we'll dap it up next year at Houston, and we'll stay in touch with the pages and everything that gives us all the connection we have. But where can everybody find you, social media wise, all that good stuff?
Everything is Twisted Oliver BBQ. My TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook, my personal page is Bobby Oliver, but everything with the barbecue brand is Twisted Oliver BBQ, including the website.
Beautiful, beautiful, Bobby. Hang on 1 second. Let me close this out. I'll jump right back in with you. Well, guys, that was awesome. Knew we were going to have some fun. Like I said, I couldn't wait to hear Bobby's whole journey and everything. Like I said, I had the opportunity to meet him last year, and we talked for a little bit, and so I was glad to get this done. Like I said, Josh and Craig, I'm coming for you, brother. We're going to get some dates set up, and that works with your guys' schedule, and going to get you guys on too. But thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Catch the video on YouTube and Facebook. Hit that subscribe button, share, all that good stuff. Any questions or comments, please send it to pitlifebbqpodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, anything, all the social medias, reach out. Let's connect. Thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, next week, Scott McDonald coming back on. We're going to talk about his SCA he has coming up in a couple weeks, beginning of April. And big event. He's excited to talk about it, so we're going to get it done, baby. But until next week, keep the smoke rolling.